Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Sean with us tonight. Harrison will not be joining us as he got back from Florida this afternoon and found a cat stuck in his wall. So he's completely tearing it out trying to rescue his cat. So
yeah, he's handling some business. But what's up, Nick? How we doing, man?
Not too bad. Really excited for this episode. We have Sophia Silverstein with us, who is the winner of the T-Mobile Home Run Derby in Williamsport, which is incredible. But we're going to meet her in a couple seconds here. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. So like I said, we're going to introduce Sophia here, the T-Mobile Home Run Derby winner in Williamsport, which it's crazy you reached out to me, Sophia, because I saw you on ESPN. I saw the absolute tear you went on, and then you messaged my inbox the next morning, and I was like, this can't be real. But it was really cool. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Yeah, and yourself?
Doing good.
I'm doing good, man. We're excited. I mean, like Nick and I were talking kind of offline. We were like, we're pretty stoked to we were days leading up to this. We're very stoked to get you on here, talk a little baseball, kind of what your experience has been, both on the softball and the baseball side, which I find really, really neat. Yeah. So we're excited to get going.
Yeah, so am I.
All right. So where did you start? Like with baseball, or did you start with softball and decide to pick up baseball, or which one kind of came first for you?
So I started with baseball when I was about 5, and then softball I only started playing this year.
Oh, wow.
Wait, so you just hit softballs 300 feet and you just started this year?
You just started softball this year?
Yeah.
Wow. And so I'm sorry, I should back up. I should probably have done a little bit more background. So where did you grow up?
Right here in Arizona.
In Arizona. Okay. So you've spent pretty much your whole life in Arizona at this point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you played started off with baseball around 5 and then just started softball this year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
As two guys from the Northeast, we are completely jealous that you get to play year-round, by the way.
Year-round baseball, yeah. And that's why I was asking, because it was leading into kind of that question. So when you started baseball so young, right, was it year-round baseball? Were you playing fall ball, spring ball, summer ball, year-round, or are you mixing in other sports in different seasons?
Yeah, it was year-round until I got to middle school, and then I would just play club, but then also do school sports. But when I was little, that's all I had was club baseball.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's crazy. All right. So walk us through your run here. So how did you qualify for the Home Run Derby? And then how did you end up getting to Williamsport to end up winning it?
So I basically, when I started playing Little League, and then I was getting into softball, and then we had the district one, and there wasn't many girls doing it, so I kind of knew I was going to get past that one. But then I hit 65 in the in the district one. So yeah, and then that's when I made regionals, and I was kind of expecting to make it to in the top 4, but then I saw the competition, I was a little nervous, and then I did end up making it, and when I won the regional one.
Yeah, so let me ask you. So you come out of the regional one, going to Williamsport. How much confidence did you have? When you went to Williamsport, are you sitting there being like, I'm going to rip this thing open? Or was it I'm sure there were some sort of nerves, but how much confidence did you have kind of going into that? Be like, I'm going to rip this thing wide open.
Yeah, I was pretty confident, but I mean, obviously I was nervous to
sure,
mess up or not do as good as I wanted to, but I was pretty confident going into it.
Good. Yeah, that's always good.
I was going to say, it didn't show ripping off 16 in a row there.
Yeah, well, it was 16 in a row, right? Yeah, that clip is insane. We showed it towards the end of the show when we were kind of pumping it for this week, that we were going to have you on, and we put that clip. Did we put it in the show, Nick, or did we just?
No, we just watched it after
the three of us did it after. Yeah, that was some run, and they were all just moonshots. Like there was not a single, and no wall scrapers, right? I mean, those things were all no doubters.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool.
Thank you.
Really cool.
Where does your like high finish come from? Because as they were kind of talking through the broadcast, they said like, they don't really see your high finish much. Does that come from playing baseball all those years?
Yeah, I've always had that finish since I was little. I was taught it. So, you know, staying palm up with the high finish, it's always been kind of my thing.
It's gorgeous.
I mean,
your
it works
swing
well
is
for you.
unreal. Yeah, your
really
swing's
does. It
unreal.
works well for you. Now, you said you were taught? Is that your dad, or did you have like a coach, like a one individual coach, kind of since you were little, or was it more like your dad or your mom or like a family member kind of stepping in, kind of walking you through that?
Yeah, it was my dad. He's always been with me in this baseball journey.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So how do you, if you do at all, how do you differentiate your swing or your approach from baseball to softball?
Well, the swing isn't different. So except it's mostly just seeing the ball out of the hands. That's different. That's basically the only thing. And the way the ball, you know, goes upwards in softball more often, and then in baseball it's straight or downwards. So that's the only thing. And then in softball, you know, there's one release point that they can do, and then in baseball there's many. So that's the only difference.
So which one do you find?
Oh,
go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead. No, you go.
So which one do you find tougher? Does it come in stretches where like you kind of maybe getting a little slump in softball, but you are raking in baseball, or vice versa?
Yeah, that definitely happens sometimes. But I think it's easier to hit a softball. But I'm obviously, you know, like since I've been playing baseball my whole life, it comes like more natural to me, you know, with all the pitches. And like in softball, I haven't really gotten used to like the rise ball and like all those things.
Sure.
But yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, that's literally what I was going to ask.
Okay.
There are particular points. No, you literally stole my question, so that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine this is a guy that like was an average baseball player, so like take it for what it's worth. And I never really played softball outside of like, you know, like the slow pitch stuff. I would imagine that yes, the ball's bigger, and yes, there's one release point, but man, like you're so much closer, right? Like on a softball diamond than you are on a baseball diamond. And I would imagine, at least for me, that the softball, I know, honey, I know. My dog is whining in the background. I would imagine that if you like getting out of a slump in softball, I would imagine would be a little bit more challenging than baseball. It just maybe because I played a little bit more baseball and never really played softball. But I guess maybe kind of to veer off of that question that Nick had asked, like when you do find yourself in a slump, whether it's softball, whether it's baseball, how do you find your way out of it? Are you kind of like a, let's go to the cage and hit more? Are you like a, let's go back to the basics and do some tee work? Or are you just like, it's baseball or it's softball, I'm going to break out of it? But like, do you like change your routine, or is it more of just like it is what it is?
So it depends like where I went wrong. Like if I went wrong mechanically, then I'll go right to work with that. But if I went wrong mentally, there's nothing really you can do about it other than going into the next game with a different mindset. So yeah, that's what I think.
Good for you. Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm thinking because, you know, it's a long season, particularly where you're from, right? Like you guys are playing year-round baseball. Slumps are going to happen. Like I don't care how good of a hitter, how power hitter, singles hitter, like whatever, you're going to go through slumps. And I'm always curious to find like particularly younger players that are so talented. Like, what's your mindset? Is it again, like I mean, you had said it, right? Like if it's a mental thing, it's just change your mindset, go into the next game, and like I'm due. But I find it interesting, like if you're having a mechanical issue, are you noticing that at the plate, or is that kind of like, is dad over there taking video? You guys are kind of watching it and seeing where the mechanics are wrong, or can you feel when your mechanics are off a little bit?
Most of the time I can feel, unless it's something like very, very tiny that I can't really like. I'll replay the videos and watch, but most of the time I can feel, like especially if it's like timing or like you know, I'm lunging or crouching or something like that.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, with me, lunging was always a mental mistake for me. Just chasing a bad pitch, but all right. So I was doing a little bit of reading on you, and you spent some time with women's baseball in Florida. right? And you got to meet
Yes.
like Monet Davis and other people like that have like pioneered the way for you. Tell us about that experience a little bit.
It was really cool. It was cool to be out there, first of all, playing with other girls who love baseball as well. And it was also really cool to meet a bunch of like powerful women that have done all this stuff. Like, they're making me see the future and that these dreams I can actually do. So like I met Kelsey Whitmore and it was so amazing to meet her. Like I saw her and she was just ripped and I was like, I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I live in North Carolina now, and the Team USA facilities is about half hour from me. So it's really cool. But so that was in Florida. Was that at Dodgertown? Was that where you did it?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really nice facility down there. I had spring training down there one year. It's nice. So what's your ultimate goal out of your whole situation? Your top goal.
Well, so I want to play D1 softball, and also I want to play on the women's national baseball team. Whatever comes first will come first, but those are my goals.
That's awesome.
Do you have a college program you're already eyeing? Like if you like you could pick anywhere. Like you could pick anywhere. Do you have one?
Oh yeah, I would definitely pick the U of A.
U of A? Love that.
Mhm.
Love that. I assume you grew up rooting for U of A?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. Dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's
awesome.
Absolutely insane. What's your favorite position to play? We haven't even covered that. Where do you prefer to be on the diamond?
So I really love playing center field. I love the outfield and just tracking down balls and calling people off. It's just such a fun time out there.
Taking charge. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Now, will you play typically the same positions in baseball and softball, or do you have like unique positions to each one?
Well, in baseball, I usually play center field. Sometimes shortstop, but I play shortstop a little more in softball.
Gotcha.
And then in baseball, I pitch, but in softball, I don't.
Oh, nice. Would you ever get into pitching in softball?
I don't think so because
No.
It's a little harder to learn it when you're older, especially
I imagine.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nice.
So going back to the home run derby, and you're in the middle of your, incredible run. What's going through your mind? Are you just seeing ball, hitting ball, or are you like, I'm in a groove and I'm just like having the time of your life, which I'm sure you were, but like what is immediately going through your mind as you're just on that tear?
Yeah, so it was both of those. It was just like, when I'm up there, everything kind of just disappears and it's just me and the ball and I'm just trying to hit, the middle of it and take my swing that I've taken a million times in the cage and just, take that same swing as many times as I can.
Yeah.
At what point did you know? Was it second, third, fourth? Like, at what point did you know? Did you know you were about to go on a run? Like, did it feel different? Like, did you feel like you were in a zone?
Yeah, I think every single time, like, I just got into something where I would hit ball after ball out, and it just, I kind of knew that I was in a groove, and it felt really good.
Yeah, I imagine that's gonna be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, there was a couple that it looked like you almost missed, but you just hit them so hard that they didn't have a choice not to go out, which was just as equally impressive to me. Like it was awesome to watch that. I've rewatched it, no joke, 30 times and it impresses me every single time. So how quick you are to the ball is something I only wish I could have done in my college career. I probably would have played more, but
I think they mentioned it too on the broadcast, and Nick had said it, and I'll say it too. I think you have a beautiful swing. It's short and compact. It's to the ball. Your hands are incredibly quick, and I would say just continue to do what you're doing, man. This is really, really impressive. Really, really.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Who do you look up to the most? Is there an MLB player or a female baseball player or softball player that you emulate or that you kind of look up to as like an idol or someone you model your game after?
Yeah, well, I definitely look up to Bryce Harper a lot because he did everything at such a young age. And like I read all these stories about him, and he just works so hard every single day, and he was pushed, and he's just in such a great position, and he's really made a name for himself.
Yeah. Have you seen his cage routine by any chance?
Oh yeah.
And that, to me, I could watch that too. It's beautiful, but it's like
it's a great answer though. And I think Bryce Harper, and not only did he get into this at such a young age, but he was such a nationally known guy at such a young age, right? And I think there's a lot of people out there, Sophia, that know your name. And I think that started probably a little while back, but really kind of ramped into high gear after the home run derby thing. So, I think that's a great guy to emulate. I think he seems like a wonderful guy, seems to handle it all with grace. I think that's a great role model.
Yeah. How are you feeling overall about the success you've had in the last month? Like, have you noticed a big difference, like off the field or anything of that nature?
Like with myself or with other people?
Yes, to both.
Okay, well, I haven't really noticed the difference, but maybe that's just me. I have noticed, I guess, like on my Instagram blowing up, all that. And I mean, I have had a little more confidence, but I've never been like a boaster or like I've never been kind of like that.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Yeah, let your play do the talking. That's all you need to have happen. But that's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us. This was absolutely incredible. Thanks for reaching out. How did you find us, by the way?
Oh, so I saw you guys on the when I was scrolling, and then like you were tagged, and I was like, I thought it would be cool to get on with you guys. So
believe me, way cooler for us than it is for you. Believe me. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that is really cool. So yeah, we're just three guys. Harrison's not here, but we're just three guys that love talking baseball. We had a kid that was from my hometown that went to Little League World Series last year, so we got to have him on. But we have a random guest, but we just talk MLB all the time. So it was really cool for you to reach out and to hear your story and what you're about. And we're going to be following you. We're going to be real close and continued success for you down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, and listen, Sophia, we'd love to keep in touch and love to have you on again. I mean, if schedules line up and, as things continue to play out, stay in touch. We'd love to have you back on again. I think this was great.
Yeah, I'd love to be back. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Right. Good luck going forward. We'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Right. Take care.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
I tell you, man, for a girl her age or a young woman her age, I mean, she is mature.
Yeah.
She's well-spoken. I mean, she's grounded. She doesn't give herself enough credit, man. She's one heck of a ball player. She's one heck of a ball player.
Yeah, man. At 13 or 8th grade, I mean, I was playing above my class, but not to that level.
Dude, I'm gonna
nowhere near that level.
I teach 8th graders, and there's not much resemblance from the way that she seems to carry herself to some of those 8th graders. A lot of those 8th graders, I know that is an impressive young lady there.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And it's speechless. I've taught my whole career too. And like you said, the maturity level there is awesome. Parents should be proud because that's a fantastic young lady right there. But.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And if anybody that's listening, if you guys haven't seen, and I know we've pumped it enough, but if you haven't seen the video, particularly the one of her going on that run in the home run derby, go watch it. Go watch it because you're going to be equally as impressed as we are every time we see it.
I wasn't kidding. I've watched it 30 times, and each time I'm just like, wow. Just
really cool.
Just hear here, and it's
impressive.
Yeah, it's great. It reminds me a lot of that like Bobby Witt, Mike Trout swing a little bit, like just very
It's like simple in the sense, like
short,
not a lot. Yeah,
high finish. Yeah, man, and she hits the ball hard.
Well, I mean, I think she seems to get locked. I mean, she meets that ball where it's coming every time. I mean, it's short. There's no wasted motion.
No,
she doesn't have any of the herky jerky stuff. I mean, it's simple, but it's so effective.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, do yourself a favor, go watch that clip. It's absolutely incredible. But all right, we're going to move on to a ton of news this week. Sean and I will try to motor through it here. Sad news about James Earl Jones passing earlier in the week. I mean, a lot of iconic roles, but I want to know which baseball movie is your favorite that he was in? Sandlot or
Sandlot, I think. I think Sandlot. I mean, I think he probably had like a bigger role in Field of Dreams. But Sandlot's my favorite baseball movie. So it's hard. It's hard for me to say anything other than Sandlot. I mean, if Sandlot's not my number one, it's 1B and 1A would be Little Big League. But it's right up there. You know what I mean? So that's a hard one. That's a hard one for me to not say Sandlot, but that's not a knock at all on Field of Dreams. I like Sandlot better.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's definitely Sandlot too, because the kids are so scared of him and his dog the whole entire show. And then like the last few minutes, he's like calling Babe Ruth by his first name. You mean like, George. Oh, George, like crazy. But
he was great. He was great in everything he was in. Baseball, not baseball. Sure. I mean, the guy was amazing.
Darth Vader.
He was epic. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Field of Dreams, that iconic monologue that he goes on, it's like an army of steamrollers. Like you can't even I
say Sandlot. Jay in the chat said Sandlot. What do you say?
I mean, I think it's Sandlot for me too, but it's hard because that quote is so iconic about baseball. And
so what I was going to say, I think it's Sandlot for me, but I think you could make, like, if we had a mysterious third person jump on and make a case for Field of Dreams, I don't think it would be wrong.
No,
absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, you could definitely make a case for it. It's just not I would pick Sandlot better, but it's right up there. It's both of them are so good, and he's great in both of them. He's great in both of them.
Well, he's good in everything. I mean, he's just so good. But yeah, so that was sad news for sure. Moving on to this news, Derek Bender, who was a Twins prospect, was cut for tipping pitches to the opposing players on purpose. So he was catching and he's telling the batters what pitch is coming because he didn't want to play in the postseason. He had had enough of the season. He's like, I'm done. I'm going to tell people what's coming. That's that. What?
Yeah, I'm speechless. I don't know, man. I mean, that's so bad. That's so bad.
What's going through your mind? If your goal is to get to the major leagues, no team's ever going to pick you up after that.
No,
what
you're
are you
out
doing?
Like, I can't imagine he's still in baseball next year.
There's no way. I was blown away by that.
I mean, that's a double middle finger to every player in that clubhouse, to every coach, to every trainer, to every person in that organization that's putting themselves out there every day for you to have an opportunity to play postseason games, and you don't feel like playing. So you're out on the field telling the other team what's coming. Like, there's so many different levels of how just completely disrespectful and selfish that is. Like, I can't imagine he plays another baseball game at any significant level ever again.
If I'm on a men's league team, I'm not picking the dude up. I want to win, goddammit.
So when I saw that come out, I had to read it 3 times. I'm like, there's no way. I'm missing something. There's no way I'm reading that correctly.
It's the ultimate ego trip to be like, I don't feel like coming to the ballpark in mid-September. Like, I need to go home.
Great.
Like,
not great.
Fastball inside corner. Here it comes, buddy. Turn on it, please. Like,
not great.
Unbelievable. Can't believe it. All right. I don't usually like bringing this guy up because of his past with the Red Sox, but Manny Machado sets the Padres' career home run mark at 164.
Yeah.
So low total, but he passes Nate Colbert, or Colbert, however you want to say his name. So 164 career home runs. Machado's done this in 6 years. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, he's been steady his whole career.
He's going to keep hitting more. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what uniform he's wearing. I mean, he's going to keep hitting more home runs. He's a good ball player.
Yeah,
He's a good ball player. You make mistakes, he's going to put it over the fence. You know, I mean, listen, you have any career home run mark for a major league club, it's impressive. I mean, he's got many more home runs in him. So I mean, we'll see how many he hits as a Padre. But good for him, man.
Yeah. Oh, Harrison says there has to be more to the story, some personal issue that would cause someone to throw their career away. I mean, maybe.
I mean, there's got to be. I mean, I'm with Harrison. There's got to be. There's got to be more to the story other than this guy's just like tired of playing baseball. But at the end of the day, like you did what you did as a slap in the face to every other player in that locker room. I mean, you got guys that are showing up, taking BP, putting in extra swings. You got pitchers that are grinding through extra film. You got coaches that are, you know, putting in all sorts of hours after hours to get the team ready to get an edge on the next opponent because they got to go on a run to get in the – like all these things that everybody else in the organization is doing to give themselves the best opportunity. And you have a guy that is in prime position who is essentially just giving it away. Like personal issue or no, and I'm sympathetic to personal issues,
right.
You know, mental, emotional issues, no doubt. You're sympathetic to that. But, I mean, that's just – it's no excuse to that as far as I see.
Really isn't. And it's usually, good morning, Extra Base Podcast. So it's morning tomorrow, right? We're a day behind.
Yeah, tomorrow. They're in the future.
Yeah, they're in the future, yeah. But, yeah, we're hopefully going to link up with these guys soon and talk about some Australian baseball, which, disclaimer, I know nothing about other than Travis Bazzana being over here now. But
hit the books.
Yeah, exactly. But so good morning to you, Aussies down there. But yeah, there really is no excuse. And a lot of players, I mean, look at, you know, unfortunately, all the stuff Freddie Freeman went through earlier this year. Like the field should be an escape from all that, right? And it is for most guys, like if it is a personal issue.
Sure.
You know, and
sure. But I mean, you look at you look at, you know, Zach Greinke has been open struggling with issues that he's had, anxiety and mental health issues and all that. I mean, it happens. And again, you're sympathetic to that, but you know, there's ways to go about it and there's ways to kind of combat that. And there's ways to deal with it. And I just, you know, just laying the rest of your organization out to dry is just,
no,
it's hard for me to grapple with that.
Yeah. 1,000%. All right. Andrew McCutchen has hit 20 home runs or more in 10 seasons. Andrew McCutchen, a Hall of Famer to you. He has been the definition of steady his entire career.
He's in the Hall of Steady then.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look at him, look at the numbers.
MVP,
Gold Glove. I hate being that guy, but baseball, the Hall of Fame has set the stage that it's a numbers game. And, you know, we've beat that dead horse a number of times, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'll have to look. I love the guy.
Same.
Like I love him. I mean, he was the face of that Pittsburgh organization earlier in his career when they just weren't very good. But he showed up every day and he played every day. And, you know, remember when Garrett Cole was young and they had those young pitchers and they went to, 3 straight years when they had that playoff wild card game. And I think they lost all 3, but he was kind of the centerpiece of those teams. And personally, I'd love to see it because I love the guy. But I don't know. I'll have to take a look at the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Like I love him. I love everything he was. I mean, career 274 batting average. We have, you know, just over 1,000 RBIs, 219.
He's played how many seasons? 14 season?
We are at 16 years.
16.
Yeah.
So this is 16.
This is 16. 5-time All-Star, Gold Glove, 4-time Silver Slugger. I mean, has he been the most dominant outfielder? No, but I would say he's slightly better than average. I say he's in. That's my guess.
Slightly better than average gets you in.
Yeah, the Hall of Very Good now, man. It's not the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame anymore. It's the Hall of Very Good, and I think, that's a great point, Harrison. Kutch and Votto are kind of in the same class. Very good, but not quite. Yeah, they could be club legends, kind of what Harrison just said.
Oh, no, definitely. They're
Club legends,
no
but
doubt.
maybe
I mean,
not
he should
baseball
be
legends.
retired in Pittsburgh.
Oh, and he will be.
He should be retired in Pittsburgh. I don't know if they have a Ring of Honor or whatever they have there. I mean, I think he's a shoe-in for that.
Yeah.
I don't know about Cooperstown, though.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Real quick, Kyle Schwarber hits his 14th leadoff homer, most ever in a season. I mean, kind of knew that was coming at some point, but it's either a home run, walk, or strikeout for him. And
well, I wonder how long a record like that is going to stand, because we are starting to see leadoff hitters are starting to morph and evolve, right? Like for a long period of time, your leadoff hitters were not guys that were getting up and smoking the ball over the fence. I mean, they were quintessential table setters and on base guys and speed and table setters, and that's kind of what their role was. And you're starting to see more guys that are going to get up there and swing for the fences from a leadoff position. So 14's a lot. I'm not sitting there saying like next year or 2 years it's going to get broken, but I wonder how long something like that is going to stand, just because I do think the position itself, because the game in general is changing into a home run type of game.
right.
But still, I mean, with that being said, I could see him breaking it again. Like I could see him coming in next year and hitting 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you're putting, teams now, you're seeing, it used to be you put your best hitter in the 3 or the 4 hole. And now you're seeing teams put their best hitter in the 1 or the 2 hole so they can get more at bats, which mathematically it makes sense. Like you want your best hitter to get the most opportunities to hit in a ball game. Like I get it.
Sure.
But I mean, 14 times he's just gotten up and been like, okay, it's 1-0. Like, sorry about it. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And to be clear, that's not 14 home runs. Like that's 14 to start a game with a home run.
Right.
No. Yeah. So it's not like, he's in the leadoff spot and he hit a home run in the 4th inning. Like, no, we're talking about 14 times started a game, top of the first or bottom of the first with a home run. And so that's really impressive.
In a season. Like not in his career. Like
in a season.
Yeah.
It's impressive. It's no doubt impressive.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. This whole
I think that's a smart thing to do. If you have a guy like a Kyle Schwarber that can be an ambush hitter, I mean, absolutely, just go for it, right? I mean, pitchers. I mean, that's the strike one is the best pitch in the game, and you want to start off with a strike, and that's how you start the game. And a lot of these guys, I don't want to say they groove them on the first pitch, but it's a
get ahead fastball.
Exactly, to get ahead fastball, and you ain't getting ahead on him with a fastball.
Nope.
14 guys have found that out this year. You ain't getting ahead with him on a fastball.
It's pretty sad when you got to start a ball game with an 0-0 breaking ball because you don't want him to put it in the seats,
or a chase pitch.
Right. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
It messes with the psyche, man. It's an impressive thing that he's able to do.
Yeah. All right. Edwin Uceda suspended 3 games for throwing at Castellanos against the Phillies. Bryce Harper comes unglued. And then Castellanos follows it up after the game because Uceda got absolutely tanked that inning. It was like 4 or 5 runs, and then he gets up and plunks Castellanos. And Castellanos says, quote, it's like my 2-year-old throwing a tantrum because I took his dessert away too early. Like, I mean, so we were kind of talking about this last week with Whit Merrifield and like the the throwing at guys on purpose. Like these guys throw way too hard for them to continue to do this. And I think hitters should be upset about this kind of stuff. And 3 games is rightfully so. Like suspension is the right move there. But
it does. It piggybacks off the things we were talking about last week. I think the league's got to do something about it. I mean, I think pitching inside is important. I think, making hitters uncomfortable is important. These guys are too good. If they're just digging in and they're completely comfortable at the plate, I mean, you're at a disadvantage. So I think it's important to be able to throw inside and make guys uncomfortable in the sense of like, okay, is it in, is it out? Are we, kind of on my heels a little bit? But they shouldn't have to worry about, a guy's upset because he doesn't have his best stuff, so he's coming through my ear hole. Like that shouldn't have to be a worry.
No.
And, there's a fine line. I mean, there's a fine line, and I don't know how to police it right now. Like, I don't think I have the answer, but they got to do something about it because, you can't wait until somebody gets really severely hurt and then say, okay, we're going to do something about this. Like at that point, it's a little bit too late.
Right.
So I think they got to do something. I think they got to get together with the players union and the umpires and everybody's got to get together and kind of understand that something's got to give here. Can't take away the inside of the plate. Got to be able to make the hitters uncomfortable while keeping it relatively safe. Hit batters are going to happen. But we can't have somebody just willingly throwing at a guy.
Yeah.
Because he's uncomfortable, because he's unhappy with the way the inning's going. I mean, you can't have that.
Right. That's the thing with me is like that just screams to me that you're mentally soft. That like, okay, I mean, I've been rocked in some outings pitching, and never was I going to be like, I'm going to drill the next guy because I don't have it. Like, no, like I'm going to battle and try to get the next guy out. Does he take me deep? Yeah, sure, whatever. But I'm not going to plunk him just because I don't have it that day. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
so I only saw the pitch. Like I didn't see was it the first pitch of the at bat?
Yeah, I believe so. And but it was after he had given up 4 or 5 runs.
Yeah, but it was the first pitch to Castellanos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't have that.
No. All right, so this trend is continuing, which is blowing my mind. 2 no-hit bids lost with 2 outs in the 9th. Again, this has been like the 5th or 6th time this year already. I say already, we got 3 weeks left of the season, but it's just I don't get it. It's like they get it. There's 26 outs, and then the 27th one, like nobody seems to be able to cap off. But Bowden Francis for the Blue Jays had it. Francisco Lindor, maybe it wasn't 2 outs in the 9th for him. It was the 9th inning. Lindor gets up, hits a solo shot. The Mets put up another 6 runs. They score like 7 runs in the 9th and come back and win that game. Which is tough to see. You take a no-hitter into the 9th and then lose by 6. It's like, that one's tough. But then the Tigers had a combined no-hitter against the Orioles until Gunnar Henderson laces a 2-out 9th inning triple down the right field line to break that up. But just like, it's one of those baseball anomalies that just keeps happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk out the other side of my mouth here because I think it was last week I got out there and I was like, yeah, it's not a perfect game. No hitters, they're not as impressive as they used to be. But it does go to show you, man, getting that 27th out is not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. Whether it's a combined, whether it's one guy going all the innings, I don't care how many walks, hit batsman, errors. Like getting that 27th out, the game is not over until you get that last out. And this week has showed us. I mean, it's hard. These are all big league hitters, man. And it's a pride thing for these guys. It's a pride thing. I mean, you'd be fooling yourself if there's a no-hitter, whether it's a 1-run game, whether it's an 8-run game. I mean, you're fooling yourself if you think these guys aren't getting up there being like, I'm the guy that's going to break it up. Right? It's a pride thing. Right. They're all big league hitters. And, it's a sense of, me versus him. And, sometimes you got to tip your cap.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a season where this has happened this many times. Like, it's just, that one's a hard one. That one's different. That one's a blown call. That wasn't a hitter taking it away.
He got the 27th out.
He did, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember like Schilling coming close with the Red Sox. I think it was against the A's. He gave one up with 2 outs in the ninth.
In Oakland, Wakefield
Yeah.
lost it with 2 outs in the ninth in Oakland. Schilling lost a
Yeah.
perfect game to a bunt when he was pitching in Arizona.
That's right.
Who's I can't remember the guy's name. He dragged it down like right in between the first and second baseman.
Yeah. I don't remember. But
which people, that still comes up on my feed every now and again about like, is this Bush League? Is it not? And like, I think it kind of is a little bit, but it's like,
totally.
It's one of those, man. Again,
it's one of those unwritten rules,
right? Yeah. Like, there's no pictures in the scorecard. Scorecard says single,
right? Yeah, line drive in the book. Yeah,
it's a single in the book. I don't know. I think it kind of is, but it's tough, man. Getting that last out, whether it's a perfect game, whether it's a no-hitter, man. It's got to be the hardest out of the game.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah. I mean, you're 100 to 110 pitches in. You're gassed. Like, do you have adrenaline? Probably a little bit, but
yeah, but you're running on fumes.
Yeah. All right. Speaking about a guy that has no adrenaline, Garrett Cole intentionally walking Devers with the bases empty, 1 out. I mean, if I'm Garrett Cole, like I get it. Devers has absolutely beat the crap out of me. And instead of giving up another solo shot, like I'll take my chances with the rest of the Red Sox lineup. Like, did it pan out for him? Nope. Like, not at all.
Those often don't.
Fair.
Like, those types of decisions often come back to kind of bite you. Because again, it's big league hitters, man. I mean, it's a pride thing. It's like, oh, you don't want to face this guy because you think I'm an easier out. Like, you think the rest of the team is a bunch of bums, so you're just going to walk, pitch you. Like, it's different pitching around a guy versus like, I give up the at bat.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you pitch around a guy, you make him take some pitches, fouls off a couple of tough ones, whatever. He ends up working a 5, 6, 7 pitch walk. Like, pitching around somebody is different. Like, you just throw up the 4 fingers. It's like, F this guy. I don't want to face this guy. I'll face the rest of them. More often than not, that's going to come back to bite you.
Yep. No, I agree. Does intentionally walking a batter count toward your pitch count?
I don't think anymore because you're just throwing up the fingers, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I didn't know if it did or not.
I don't know. I've never looked that closely, but I can't imagine how it would.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but whatever. All right. So Kumar Rocker finally gets to the big leagues after a while here. Crazy road to the show. He was in the independent league for a while. Went back to the draft because he originally got drafted by the Mets.
The Mets, yeah.
And then had elbow or shoulder, I think, and then ends up going to like the independent league, getting some innings in there, re-enters the draft, and then comes back up with the Rangers here and finally makes his first start and has a pretty good outing. So,
yeah. So John helped us out. So it's Ben Davis was the guy that broke up the Kurt Schilling one. But he said, in fairness, it was 2-0, so the game was still within reach. Bush League, if it's 10-0, which I agree with.
Fair.
I mean, it's still within reach. So, that's valid. I mean, you got to get a guy. I mean, it's one base runner on and the tying runs at the plate. I get it. That's valid.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so Kumar Rocker strikes out 7 in his MLB debut for the Rangers through 4 innings. Looked pretty good. So, I mean, that's with Jacob deGrom coming back this week. I mean, deGrom to me is just as impressive because guy hasn't pitched in, they said, 27 months, and didn't look like he missed a beat. Like he doesn't even look 100%, which is crazy, and he was still mowing people down.
But that's the frustrating thing with deGrom is like he never looks like he misses a beat. So like that's the frustrating part is he misses so much time. He has so many surgeries and recoveries and potentially setbacks at times, and then he finally does make it back, and it's like, damn it, man! Like just be healthy, and you'd be so good. Like it's almost like it's a curse because he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
Like you almost want to see a guy like that who has to like scratch and claw his way through like his first outing back where he's like, giving up some bombs and he can't locate and he's, hitting guys with breaking balls because he doesn't have the feel and he doesn't have the the MPH and that on the fastball. Like that's kind of what you want to see, because it's like, all right, like that's a human way to deal with recovery. But like he doesn't seem to have any of that, and then it becomes so incredibly frustrating, because like, well, dude, just stay healthy, and like we just get to see this all the time. That would be awesome,
Right.
you know.
He was quite impressive. I stayed and watched
sure
the 4. Did he go 4 or 5? He might have gone.
I didn't see the final line.
I think he went 5. And it's just, I mean, granted, it's a good lineup to start against because the Mariners can't hit a lick, but it still doesn't matter. It's a big league lineup.
Big league hitters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I still get it. Yeah. But I mean, he looked great for not pitching for 27 months or whatever that timeline was. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're a Ranger fan, or if you're in that organization, I mean, it's got to give you certainly some good feels towards next year. Now, I don't know. I'll look up real quick. Like, I don't know what his contract is, like how many years he's got left in Texas, but.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely, it was impressive. I like it.
Yeah. So he's signed a 5-year, so he's through 2027. So he's got a couple of years left there. So, I mean, that's got to make you feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Ranger fan or you're in that organization, I mean, and he's probably got 2 more, 3 more. I mean, we'll see kind of what they do with him for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll be in good shape. I mean, you're gonna probably lose Evaldi to free agency here, but I mean, if Kumar Rocker comes up and continues to do what he's doing here, and I think they'll be all right. Rangers will be good. Losing Corey Seager might hurt, but it's just hernia surgery, so he should be back in time for spring training. But we'll see if the Rangers
reload, man. I mean, you win the World Series. Obviously, this year is certainly a disappointing year for them. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that they're probably fine with the way this year went down. I think it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
But I think Rocker could be a good kind of stabilizing piece in that rotation. DeGrom, if he stays healthy, obviously a massive if. But if he does, I mean, that's an ace. I mean, that's an ace. I mean, and who knows? I mean, maybe Evaldi re-signs there. Probably not, but it's certainly within the question. I mean, the guy, he seems like a loyal dude, right? Like, I mean, I certainly, from all accounts, it looked like sounded like he wanted to come back to Boston, and he was willing to hear them out and come back, and it just didn't work out. I imagine he gives Texas the same kind of attitude, right? Like hitting free agency at the end of this year. So we'll see what happens. I think they'll be better. I think they'll have a better year next year.
And who knows what you're going to get out of Scherzer too? He's kind of a wild card here too.
One,
So
that's right.
We'll see. All right. Rockies and Marlins are retiring their City Connect uniforms after this year, but don't worry, 2 more are coming out next year. So you're welcome. So the Rockies are retiring their greens. I actually don't mind the Marlins City Connects. They're like the red and white pinstripes with. I actually don't mind those, but they're retiring both of them, and they will have new ones next year. So don't you fret.
Once the Rockies made that switch and they wore them with white pants, I didn't hate them at all.
Yeah, they were much better than the green.
Much better. The green on green it looked way too much like an ugly softball uniform. But when they switched it up and they went with the white pants and then those City Connect tops, like I actually think they looked fine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. This one kind of, I mean, I get it, but I don't like it. A German apparel company, Strauss, is to be on the helmets of the batters in the postseason. The deal runs from 25 to 27. So it will be on the side of the helmets, kind of like what you see in like the Mexican League, Dominican leagues down there. They got the sponsors freaking everywhere. NBA's doing it on their uniforms. So it's, I mean, we've already got the patch on, like the Marlins have ADT and they already have the patch on the sleeve. So now they're selling the helmets and it will be until 2027. I don't like it. Like, leave my helmet.
You said it's starting in the postseason, like, but with the deal running, is it like going to be all of the 2026 season, or is it only a postseason deal?
From the way I read it, it says postseason deal. So during the regular season, no. But during the postseason, they'll have them on their helmets.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's what they meant by postseason deal. It didn't say anything about regular season throughout the year, but yeah, that's my guess. So, and the last thing I have before we get to trivia is Dave Roberts came out and said that he wouldn't be surprised if Shohei Ohtani ends up pitching in the playoffs. I mean, he's already thrown off a mound and has been for a week or so now. What do you think his chances are of throwing in the playoffs are?
Jesus, man. I mean, if Robert says it's decent chance, and I mean, he's as close to anybody.
Yeah. Well, he said
it
wouldn't surprise him. It doesn't really say it's a decent chance. It just.
I mean, that seems like it's a decent chance, right? I mean, I'm reading between the lines here, but would it surprise me for the guy that's running the ball club? I mean, aren't you the one making the decision, dude? I mean, isn't that a you decision? Like,
well,
he's saying it wouldn't surprise him.
I would say no, Roberts isn't making the decisions, but that's another story. But
yeah, I mean, he's DeGrom-esque. Like, would it surprise me if he gets out there and just mows guys down? No, it truly wouldn't. There is nothing that guy does on a baseball field that would surprise me anymore.
No, I'm with you.
It's just insane. It's insane. I mean, just another weapon. And even if, this could be a potential kind of mental warfare kind of thing where it's just like, hey, we're going into the postseason. We're going to throw this out there. And any team that's potentially playing against us just has something else that they have to worry about and potentially game plan for. And if you give, 3 hours towards scouting Ohtani, that's 3 hours that you're not getting scouting another guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, at the end of the day, if he ends up taking the mound and he pitches, would it surprise me? No. Sure wouldn't.
Yeah. Great point by our co-host that's co-hosting from picking his wall up off the floor. They need Shohei to pitch. Glasnow's now out for the season with an elbow flare-up. Kershaw's hurt with that bone spur or whatever. You're right. I mean, Dodgers, with all the starting pitching that they seem to have had at the deadline, with guys coming back, they've just gotten all re-hurt again. So, yeah, Dodgers could be in trouble here, and maybe they will need Shohei to pick up the slack there. But again, how much do you want to lean on him and jeopardize him for next year? I don't know.
I think that's the discussion, right? Yeah. I mean, that they got to be honest about that, and that's got to be an organizational decision. And I'm sure Shohei's part of the conversation, but it's also something, sometimes you got to protect him from himself. And you have a lot of money. You have a lot of money going towards this guy. And a large decision-making part of that money was that this guy's going to help us offensively and defensively for the next X amount of years. So, knowing full well that he wasn't going to be pitching this year, is it worth jeopardizing next year? Is it worth, I don't know. I'm with Harrison. I think they need him just with the injuries that have come up for them. But I don't know if it's worth it. That would have to be, an organizational decision and discussion. So, we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either. I mean, yeah, I just don't know in what capacity. Maybe as like an opener or something, kind of like they usually seem to do in the playoffs anyways. But yeah.
Well, that's where you start getting into the whole no double switches, though.
Right.
Right. So that putting him in there as an opener would be, I think, an interesting decision, because then now what?
Oh, right. You're right. Because then,
you know what I mean? You can't just put him to DH when he comes out.
Right. He would have to come in halfway through. He'd have to come in mid-game. He'd have to sub in.
Right. He would have to start the game as a DH.
And then go pitch.
And then come in, but then he's in.
Right.
If you want his bat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's throwing off a mound, you can put him in the field somewhere. You can put him in the outfield.
Oh, right. Yeah, but he's not exactly a defensive stalwart. But yeah, right. Right.
Well, no, but his bat's gonna
stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now whoever you bring in to pitch is now hitting.
Yeah. Well, then you just pinch hit the rest of the game, depending on what situation you bring him in.
No,
It's a lot of moving pieces.
Makes it more complicated. Yeah, it
Right.
just makes it more complicated for Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mess. I mean, we'll see. All right. We will finish off this show with some trivia. Sean is by
I got
himself.
no Harrison here to help me.
Well, Harrison's in the chat here somewhere. So here we go.
I need Harrison to text me some stuff on the side here. Help me out here, buddy.
All right. Here we go. National League team records. Can you see that all right? Why is it like that?
It's like really zoomed in.
Yeah, why is it like that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Here we go. First one. Who holds the franchise record for drawing the most career walks for the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Tony Womack.
Nope. Still an active player, but not for the D-backs anymore.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Franchise record for drawing the most career walks for Arizona Diamondbacks. Goldschmidt.
Yes, sir. Nice. Yep, 655. Okay.
Should have been my first guess, if we're being honest.
It is what it is. Who holds the franchise record for career pitching strikeouts for the Atlanta Braves?
Smoltz.
Yes. 3,011. Yep. John Smoltz.
He was all right.
Yeah. He was good.
Few swings and misses in his day.
Yep. Who holds the franchise record for extra base hits in a career for the Chicago Cubs?
Not Sammy, right?
No, not Sammy.
Ernie Banks?
It is Banks, Mr. Cub. 1,009. That's another guy I wish I was old enough to see.
Yeah, to have watched, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Who holds the franchise record for most career home runs for the Cincinnati Reds? Remember, these are only Reds home runs, so it's not like Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't qualify.
Votto?
No. Good guess.
I was going to say Frank Robinson, but
no.
Yeah. He hit a bunch, in Baltimore too.
Yeah.
What era? Like Big Red Machine era?
Yeah. Him and Pete Rose were on the same team there. The media said that they had like kind of a little spiff between them because they thought like one was better than the other.
Not Johnny Bench.
Yeah,
it is Johnny Bench.
Yeah. 389.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 389.
I'm gonna get ripped up for that one. I'm surprised.
That's all good. Yeah, I kind of was too when I saw that. I was like, But then I'm like, who else? Cincinnati Reds only
Votto
would have hit in that many. Votto was my immediate gut reaction too, but that was like, no, not quite enough. But
what do you end up with? He's got to be fairly close.
I want to say he was in the 340s.
All right, so fairly close.
50s. Yeah, I mean, he was there, but he was 356.
Okay, so fairly close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a horrible guess.
No. All right. Who holds the franchise record for most career triples for the Colorado Rockies? This guy was a center fielder.
Carlos Gonzalez.
No, good guess. He spent time with the Cubs. He spent time with the Cardinals. think maybe even a little time with the Dodgers. I can't remember. But Cubs and Cardinals and Rockies are where I remember this
Was
guy
he a lefty?
from. Yep.
Rick Ankiel?
No, not Rick Ankiel.
It wouldn't be Rick Ankiel.
Oh, he was a switch hitter. Sorry. He was a switch hitter. Center fielder. He is currently, I'm pretty sure, on MLB Network.
Like he's a personality on MLB Network?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know, man. I think you got me here.
This is Dexter Fowler.
Definitely. That's my bad. Definitely.
Yeah, Dexter Fowler. All right. Who holds the franchise record for most career hit batsmen for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
So this is a pitcher.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's not a hitter hitting hits batsmen.
Well, I was just confirming.
Yeah,
confirming.
Yeah, it's a pitcher. Hall of Fame pitcher here.
It's not Koufax.
Not Koufax.
Hershiser? No, he's not a Hall of Famer, is he?
No, Hershiser's a Hall of Famer.
He is, but it's not him.
It's not him though. That dude was Greg Maddux before Greg Maddux.
Yeah, that's true.
This
Someone who gets untalked about enough when you talk about Hall of Fame pitchers.
Yeah, he had that
Like
stretch
he doesn't
of
get mentioned. Yeah,
No.
He doesn't get mentioned.
and he should. But
Well,
this,
I mean, I don't mention. I didn't know. I wasn't positive that he was. So that's I'm in that boat too.
yeah. All right, this one is Don Drysdale.
Oh, Drysdale.
Yeah, 154 hits batsman in his career. All right. Who holds the franchise record for most career doubles for the Florida/Miami Marlins?
Hanley.
No.
Dan Ugla.
Nope. Correct era-ish.
Would the Ugla
Wrong
one?
Yeah. Third base. Came to the Sox with Beckett.
Oh, so Mike Lowell. I was going to say Mike Lowell, but I didn't think he played in the same. I didn't think he played with Dan Ugla.
He might have been a tiny bit before,
A touch before. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure they were on a team.
Yeah, no,
at
it's
one point.
valid. I mean, he was definitely in my mind.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. Okay, who holds a franchise record for most career home runs for the Brewers?
Ryan Braun.
Yeah, that was right down the middle. 352.
Yeah, well, it's almost. I wasn't sure. Like I said, that easy.
Yeah, but these have been getting a lot of traction on Facebook because they're like, "Oh, well, he did it with steroids, so it doesn't count." It's like,
yes, it does.
I was like,
yeah,
I go,
it sure does.
right. I go, a record's a record. I was like, or just a whole bunch of different crap, man. I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't write the record books, man. I just put out questions. That's it. That's all I do. So, okay. Yep. Ryan Braun. Okay. Who holds a franchise record for most career hits for the New York Mets?
So David Wright.
It is David Wright. Nice. 1777, which again, for a Mets franchise, for that to lead for a career mark is not very high. It's crazy. It just shows that people don't stay. They don't stay.
Well,
long
that's true too. That's a good point too. Yeah.
But yeah, 1777.
Or you get the Mike Piazzas, the Carlos Beltrans, like that played a bunch of years elsewhere.
Right, and then came in for free agency or whatever. Yeah. That's what I mean. All right, who holds the franchise record for most career saves for the Philadelphia Phillies? Yeah, a lot of F's there. Sorry.
I feel like this is like right down the middle. I feel like I'm like missing someone.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's right down the middle, but once you see it, you're gonna be like, "Oh crap!" Because you think of him as a closer somewhere else.
Not Papelbon.
It is Papelbon.
It's Papelbon?
123 saves for the Phillies. Yep.
Well, that's why I said, is it right down the middle? Because Papelbon was in my head, but I'm like, it can't be him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't consider that a right down the middle pick, really. I mean, it's.
I agree.
But then again, I can't really think of a good Phillies closer other than Jose Mesa.
Dude, I was like Tug McGraw. Like,
yeah, Tug
you know
McGraw.
what I mean? Like, I that's why I couldn't really think of one.
Yeah, Jose Mesa is the only other one that I could think of that was there, but he bounced around. I'm pretty sure. So
You're right.
Yeah, Papelbon 123, crazy. Who holds a franchise record for highest career slugging percentage for the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Probably Bonds.
No, not Bonds. It is a lefty outfielder, though.
Was Stargell a lefty?
He was, but it's not Stargell.
It's not him.
We saw this guy play. He had a brother that played second base for the Braves.
We saw him in person?
Not in person, no. But we've seen him on TV growing up.
I got you.
Yeah.
I am
power hitter for the. This is Brian Giles.
Oh.
Yeah. 591.
You could have given me that question 100 times. I don't know how many times I would have got Brian Giles. Wow.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
That's impressive. I mean, that's surprising.
It is. There's a lot of great hitters for that organization, and perhaps have him lead. It's crazy. All right. Who holds a franchise record for most career sacrifice flies for the St. Louis Cardinals?
Give me an era.
Just retired last year.
Pools.
Not him. We think he would make a fantastic manager if he ever decides to.
Oh, Yachty?
Yeah. Yachty Molina, 75.
I feel like Ruben Sierra had like 75 sac flies a year. Like wherever he played, that dude was just the king of the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, right? Crazy. All right. Who holds a franchise record for most career strikeouts by a pitcher for the San Diego Padres?
Most strikeouts as a Hoffman?
No. Good guess.
Is it a starter?
It is a starter. 2002 to 2016 was his career. Padres, White Sox, Red Sox, Giants.
Jake Peavy.
It is Jake Peavy. Nice. Yep. 1348. It's a lot of strikeouts. Who's there?
It is. Yeah, that's a lot. I got to be honest with you. When the question came up and I was racking my brain for Padres starters, that's a tough one. Yeah, Jake Peavy. That makes a lot of sense.
2005, he had 216, led the league. 2006, 215. 2007, 240, led the league.
And he was a big part of that. So when the Sox went and gone, a big part of that Sox rotation. Did a great job in Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. What was he that year? 2013. He was 4-1. We got him at the deadline
deal, but deadline deal
from the White Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Put us over the hump that year for sure.
It was great in the postseason too.
Yep. All right. Who holds the franchise record for most career home runs surrendered for the San Francisco Giants?
It's got to be a starter.
It is a starter.
Old time era, or did we see him?
We did not see him. Pitch from 60 to 75. One of those guys with like a weird, funky wind up.
So was it Marichal?
It is long.
However you pronounce that? Marichal.
Yeah, nice. 315 home runs surrendered. Yikes. It's a lot of times watching the ball leave the ballpark.
It's all right, man. He was a big league pitcher.
Right? Gonna happen. All right, last one. Who holds a franchise record for most career strikeouts by a pitcher for the Montreal Expos / Washington Nationals?
Strasburg?
It is Strasburg, and this guy should have had many, many more.
Yeah.
17-18 was his final total. Crazy. Yeah. I'm still sad that we got robbed of that, dude.
Yep.
But all right. I know there was
Not
a
bad.
lot of not bad. We did all right. Flew through a lot of the stuff that we had. But do you have anything else to add as we're getting down to the nitty gritty? Baseball History Dork posted an awesome meme today. He had Dustin Pedroia on there with the Big 15 showing, and he said 15 days till postseason. Or he said this many days till postseason, and it was Pedroia. I loved it. And then I commented, I go, freaking Manny Machado.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, man.
2 weeks, and we're into every pitch is a stress pitch.
Yeah.
That's the best part of postseason baseball. Every pitch. First inning, third inning, eighth inning, every pitch matters. Every pitch is a stress pitch. So I love it.
Yeah. So keep your eye out. Usually during the postseason, we pick like a couple games to come on and live, and it's an informal show. We just kind of sit back and shoot the bull, talk about the game and whatever's happening in baseball at that time. So keep your eye out for that, for some special shows. If you would want to come on, you can just send us a message. We usually have guests on and just kind of hang out for a few minutes. But so keep your eye out for that. Thanks for commenting in the chat. Thanks again to Sophia Silverstein. That was absolutely incredible having her on and just talking baseball and softball and her career so far and her ambitions. It is, like you said, Sean, it is absolutely refreshing to see a 13-year-old with that much drive and ambition to be the best that she can be already. Because frankly, I don't see that a lot. Being a teacher, like I don't see that type of drive and ambition anymore, which is sad.
No, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort to get off the couch and get away from the video games and the TV and to get out there and say, this is what I really want. I have goals that I am striving towards, and I'm gonna get after them. And it's impressive, man. I was impressed with just talking with her. She's incredibly well spoken, very, very humble. But she's very driven. Driven's a good word. And I was impressed.
Yeah, very, very much so. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on her career as she moves forward, and good luck to her. So thanks for joining us, Sophia. Thanks for everybody that joined us in the chat. Even our third co-host, thanks to you, Harrison. John, as always, thank you so much for chiming in. And Jay, our standard Angels fan. So thanks to everybody for chiming in. Before you go, make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back on next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The countdown to the postseason is on. We'll take a look at the races coming up, see where everybody is going into that last week of baseball, and we will talk about it with y'all next week at 8 p.m.
We're 2 shows away from the postseason, man. 2 shows away.